As election day draws closer, predatory Republican fundraising tactics are getting more and more scrutiny. The most recent report comes from CNN, which actually found, unsurprisingly, that Republican aligned groups have been exploiting elderly voters through the use of text messages that have persuaded dementia patients to give away all of their savings.
So you made more than 100 donations in one day.
My gosh.
The Benjamin family has had this conversation before. 81-year-old Richard Benjamin just doesn't remember.
So between these 2 months, it's over $60,000.
Richard Benjamin has dementia.
When read, boy, there was a lot of them when read ones.
Ultimately, he gave away more than $80,000 in political donations, all going through a fundraising platform called Win Red.
I was dealing with President Trump, and so it came up that when they wanted to find out what I was doing, that's what I put in.
He really, in his heart, believed that Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. and other politicians were personally reaching out to him.
He just didn't have the capacity to understand what it was that he was actually doing.
That right there is elder abuse, okay? Now, the report also noted that another person ended up giving away nearly $500,000 to former President Donald Trump and other Republican candidates, which means the savings account that he had spent his whole life building was practically empty. Now, luckily, that person managed to get over $150,000 that money donated refunded. So it was the son that did this. But that's still only a fraction of the man's overall political contributions that are now gone. I mean, the rest of that money is gone.
Bing, 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 boom, it's gone.
And that's not a good thing. That's a horrible thing. Now, that said, look, obviously, both parties will do text message fundraising. And sometimes, yeah, a lot of it is predatory, okay? With, messages like pushing people to donate, okay? Now, that said, when it comes to taking advantage of elderly people, Republicans do that far more than any Democratic groups.
CNN's investigative team reviewed more than 1,000 public reports and complaints and found deceptive political fundraising by Republicans and Democrats has victimized hundreds of elderly Americans, misleading them into donating far more than they intended. And it adds up. A sample of just 52 elderly donors, many who suffer from dementia or cognitive decline, gave away more than $6 million of their life savings, the majority to Donald Trump and other Republican candidates.
The Republican fundraising machine has been subject to more than 800 complaints to the FTC since 2022. Complaints against Republicans were received nearly 7 times more than the number of complaints lodged against Democrats. So, yeah, is it a both sides do it issue? Yeah. But one side definitely does it a lot more often and to much more of a devastating effect than the other side. It'd be nice that if nobody did it, but that would require a different way of financing elections, possibly just public financing of elections instead of private financing of elections, is which we have now. So there's a few reasons that Republicans do this more than anyone else. For one, certainly this cycle, you've got Donald Trump. People like Trump and his campaign do not care who they scam. Okay, they just want the monies, right? And of course, there's a pretty big reason why they're so desperate for the monies. Right now, the PAC that has been largely funding Donald Trump's legal bills is broke. Yes, the Washington Post reports that the Save America PAC that Trump has used to pay his legal bills and those of some of his associates raised only $1.4 million in September, but spent $4 million, most of it on lawyers. It actually has less than $2 million cash on hand and nearly $5 million in legal bills. So that's why Donald Trump is out there begging these donors for cash. Not only that, but of course his small dollar donations are down compared to where they were back in 2020. So he's out there literally saying things like, oh, what? You got to give me money. What, you don't think...
I'm not worth your McDonald's money.
Give it to me. I need the monies. Okay. Now, a March report also showed that Trump was shelling out $90,000 a day in legal fees, but none of it came from his own personal finances. Because, of course, instead it came from donors and supporters. You think that Donald Trump pays his own bills? Come on. And that right there, by the way, is the gifts. Is the grift. He wants the supporters, including 80-year-old dementia patients, to pay his bills. It doesn't matter if they lose their homes, their cars, their retirements. You think he gives a damn? No. As long as it doesn't come out of his own pocket. That's it. If it did, oh, well then, hey, it wouldn't get paid. Because Donald Trump has a long history of stiffing people that he owes money. Okay? For example, all the cities that Trump owes money to for hosting his rallies. You know, these, Grand Rapids, St. Cloud, Green Bay, Erie, Pennsylvania, Prescott Valley, Arizona, look at El Paso, owing $569,204.63. Then you've got Mesa, Arizona in 2018, $64,000. Spokane, Washington, $65,000. Tucson, Arizona, all the way back in 2016, he still owes money. And of course, you can also talk about all the workers that he's stiffed over the years. Okay. In 2016, a USA Today investigation found that 3,500 lawsuits against him over a course of 3 decades were related to his unpaid bills. Roughly 24 lawsuits alleged the former president's companies had failed to pay overtime or minimum wage to workers. And again, he came out there and said, oh yeah, I don't pay overtime. So he's admitting to doing what is essentially a crime. That is wage theft. All right. He is a thief and a liar. So not only does he not pay his bills, he does do that wage theft, all while ripping off elderly dementia patients. That's who this guy is. That's who Donald Trump always has been. Okay? And yet, this is who the Republican Party overwhelmingly supports. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe with the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.